Local Edition. I'm Brad Pomerance. We're in the Inland Empire today. We are joined by a member of the Riverside City Council. His name is Paul Davis, running for re-election, by the way, that election on June 6th. I want to speak with you about the state of the city of Riverside economically. Riverside did pretty well during the recession, at least the city as an entity, as well as the surrounding communities. How is the city of Riverside doing budgetary-wise now?
We're doing much better. We are very focused on our 2-year budget with a 5-year outlook, and we manage that through our new city management team.
Right.
They are extraordinary. And we are so pleased that they get it. They understand, they listen to us, they listen to the people, and everything they present to us and we present to the city management to bring forward to the council is with that in mind. Where are we going? How are we going to get there? And is it best for our future and not just the here and now?
Right. One of the reasons why the Riverside City budget is looking pretty strong, at least into the foreseeable future, is the voters of Riverside were very generous in November, passed a general sales tax, got about 60% of the vote, only needed 50 plus one.
That's right.
And so how does that help the outlook in terms of the sales tax, which is kicking in as we speak?
Right. Well, it is significant too. The voters that approved this saw and recognized the need of cost. We can only bring in so much sales tax, which is to be affected certainly by internet sales with no sales tax and various other measures passed by the state legislature that really restricts us as an unfunded mandates. But Measure Z gives us an opportunity to look forward to the 30, 50-year vision rather than every 2 or 5 years as we do now. And it provides for us, which is the most important things for folks, is public safety. You must feel safe going to the park, going to work, driving down the street, living in your own home. We get that and we understand it. So we have authorized and funded 60 brand new police officers.
Right.
And we've also authorized additional firefighters who will hopefully will have some new stations, certainly in Orangecrest and Mission Grove area, which we certainly need. And that's part of it. Then the infrastructure piece.
I want to dig really deep into infrastructure if we can.
Very well.
Because this is an issue that is percolating, permeating, penetrating every corner of the state of California.
Yes.
What we know is that California's state roads need $59 billion of repairs. Local roads need $78 billion of repairs. 37% of California roads are in bad shape. That's very troubling if you ask me. Sacramento's been trying to address this question. You have some money as a result of Measure Z. Where do you go from here?
Well, now we have our Budget Engagement Commission, which we very much use and appreciate their support. We have 19 members on that who will help guide us, and it is a guidance, and I can't tell you how important that is to me and certainly the constituency. So we are now putting together the needs and certainly the wants, and then we vet that through the organization or the committee, and then it comes back to a larger council discussion through our committee process and the full council vote. So as we have begun this here in April, we will not see any funding at all until about August, because we're always a quarter behind. You just don't get the money instantly.
Yeah.
And then we will gauge it. Our sales tax is down from last quarter's same period, about $500,000, and that's because of why? People are being conservative. They understood what happened in the downturn of the economy from the 2006, 2008, and they're being very wise in their expenditures. Things are being stretched to last longer, which is not indifferent that you saw under the Great Depression. Right. Folks understood, and it changed the economy. It certainly changed the habits and how people address their lives and how they spent their money.
At the same time, we have a state government that's looking at increasing funding for road repairs.
Yes, SB 1 and 81.
Yeah, they're looking at a gas tax increase potentially.
Right.
We have a federal government with a new administration in Washington that is talking about infrastructure and increasing spending on infrastructure. What we know is we don't know how the programs will really, in the end, how they'll be created, but there's often a local match. And so is Riverside ready to adopt some type of local match if that's how these programs are structured?
In my view, it's almost necessary. If we are fortunate enough to say the federal government rolls in and says, we'll give you a $100 million federal match for your infrastructure, roadways, curb and gutter, ADA ramps, and so forth. I would certainly believe that it'll almost be 100% vote,
Right.
and you never know 100%
Right.
with my colleagues, that we would support such a thing,
The
and we would
challenge-
embrace
right.
it.
The challenge, though, is that Riverside, although a pretty good-sized city, 300,000 people, there's only so much money you can match. You know, you don't have as much money as, for example, the county of Riverside, and you are the largest city in the county. Right. Now, Riverside does have a self-help tax for transportation. That was put on the books a while back. But other cities, other counties, I should say, like Los Angeles, are even doubling down on increasing their transportation sales tax, in some ways in anticipation of a potential match. I know you're on the city council, not on the county board of soups, but should Riverside County be looking at going back to its voters to try to bump up that self-help tax in anticipation of potential matching programs?
Well, I believe that they are. I don't know the specifics on that. I know Riverside County Transportation Commission is also looking at coming back to increase from 0.5% to 1% on transportation issues.
Sure.
Now, as far as the county, it's all about timing. And
Of course.
you'd certainly want to do a push-poll, ask in certain manners, and then you will gauge how successful we will be.
And
now, our city manager, John Russo, was extremely intelligent and smart about this, did the right thing at the right time.
For your city sales
for our
tax.
city sales, and was aggressive, and all of us and all the employees throughout the city were a part of this big push, and that's what the county's going to need. Everybody has to be on board. Everyone has to do their part.
And what's interesting is in November, 14 counties had measures on their ballot for transportation sales taxes. Only 6 passed. But it wasn't as if it was like the blue counties passed them and the red counties didn't. I mean, Stanislaus County, that's a pretty reddish county. Right. They passed their transportation sales tax, but San Francisco didn't. You know, San Diego didn't.
Yeah.
Humboldt didn't. I mean, Humboldt, the bluest of, well, I guess it's kind of a mixed county, but you know where I'm going. Right. It's hard to say.
It's important that you measure the temperature of the water before you begin on that aggressive path.
Right.
Because we only place things on the ballot. It is now up to the education of the voters to really, does this matter to me? And maybe they didn't do a good job. I'm not going to.
Of course, we don't know. There's 14 different counties.
Yeah. Right, but it's a major part of it. And I would come on your show, others. Right. I would debate the naysayers on that issue, because it is important for our future, for our city. And we're very fortunate that the voters recognized it. And I think that Riverside County and other counties will have to have no other choice but to put a measure on with all the unfunded mandates. There's only so much money in the well, or water in the well, I should say.
Now, one could argue that you have particular influence over these decisions because you are the president of the Riverside County Division of the League of California Cities.
Yes, sir, I am.
So representing is it 26 cities?
28
cities in Riverside County. Yeah. So I know that's but one issue that's before the Riverside Division. What else are you looking at in terms of the League of California Cities?
Well, we look at certainly our purpose is for protecting local control on behalf of not only the cities themselves, but the residents and business constituency in those, so that we can avoid these unfunded mandates and not have to draw monies out of certain pots that would go for infrastructure and roads and so forth. But it's important for us to have a voice at the table. And so Riverside Division has a big contingent, not only in the state board, but also in the area of helping to form policy. We have strong committees and we have strong members. And as the president, I have an executive board that is outstanding and very involved. So we go up there, we fight for whatever we have available to us, and we have tools through lots of different measures that we bring forward to the State League and certainly to the state of California.
He is Riverside Councilman Paul Davis. I'm Brad Pomerance. This is Local Edition.